Well, good morning. And yes, I've had a setback. And do not do what I did. Let me tell you my story. Yesterday, you'll be getting this on Monday, but this happened on Saturday. Sunday, I released an over an hour long video where I was walking around. I went into town. I went into 2 stores. I was zipping all over the place, and I was feeling good. So, what do they tell you? What did they tell me? Don't overdo it. Mistake 1. Mistake 2, I ignored a signal from my body. And I talked about it a couple of times. I said, I've got this annoying little, this sharp, like pinprick sharp pain in the side of my thigh that occurs when I'm walking a little bit. And I was rating it anyway from a 1 to a 3. Once I think I said it was a 4. And I didn't see any signs of anything, didn't feel anything. I mentioned it to the nurse that called from the surgery center. She said that's perfectly normal. Well, at the end of the day, after I finished the video and everything, I was outside walking around with my walker, and Cheryl was out there. I said, Cheryl, suddenly this really hurts a lot. It was like a 7 or an 8, that little pin thing. And she said, let me take a look at it. And she said, oh my, you have a extremely large bruise, an area of protrusion. We need to get you back inside. And here's what she found. This, to me, came out of nowhere. Well, one, this is the very side of my thigh, so as I look down right now, I wouldn't be able to see it. Cheryl was examining everything, and she didn't see it either, because I don't think it was there until I did all that walking, going up and down steps and around 2 grocery stores, and I was absolutely miserable and a little frightened, because there was a lump developed. Is like, I wonder if it's a hematoma. I wonder if I have a hematoma. Well, Cheryl's a nurse and saying it's not a hematoma. No, it's a big bruise, Rob. It's part of the process. And she left, and I'm like, yeah, I was a paramedic, but I wasn't a friggin' doctor, okay? And I wasn't a paramedic for that long. I'm going through Google hematomas after hip surgery. Horror stories. And I call her up and go, Cheryl, are you sure it's not a hematoma? It feels and looks like a hematoma to me. She's like, Rob, I'll be right over. And God bless her. I have a concern, and she's here. She said, let me do a thorough exam here. And she goes, Rob, it's okay. It's not a hematoma. She said, it's okay. We need to alternate ice, 1 hour on, 1 hour off for the rest of the night. And you need to stay off your feet. You need to take it easy. We'll reevaluate tomorrow on Sunday. And if it's any worse on Monday, she said, there's no way, this is no kind of emergency. This is a little bit of a setback. You've been doing absolutely fabulous. This is just a little bit of a setback. And you overdid it, and let's not do that again. You haven't even been, it hasn't been a week yet. Relax. And if it's any worse on Monday, we'll take a picture of it. We'll get on the phone. We'll call the nurse at the surgery center. We'll send her a picture of it, and they'll tell us whether there's a concern. I'll doubt we'll have to do that, but if we need to do that, we'll do that. Well, I haven't seen Cheryl yet today. It's only 6:40 a.m. But I did wake up, and it was a little more painful than usual, but I realized that was because I slept through the whole night. I didn't take my regular Tylenol, so it'd been probably almost 8 hours since I took my Tylenol. I took my Tylenol. I took my morning Melexicam, and now it feels really good, and it's not swollen like it was yesterday. So I'm kind of back to where I was. So I'm not going to be zipping across the desert today in my walker. But really pay attention. It did somewhere in the back of my mind that, There was the regular pain that felt like muscular pain on the front and my inability to raise my leg and stuff, all totally normal. But this pinpoint, specific location, sharp pain, it always bothered me a little bit. Enough so I mentioned it. I mentioned it to Cheryl a few times, and I mentioned it to the surgery center, and everyone was saying that seems normal. But it was a cause for concern. So if you're recovering and you feel that like a pinpoint pain in a specific location on your leg, that means you're not ready for a lot of locomotion. I mean, shuffle around your house a little bit, get up and move, use the leg squeezers. But that's all I'm going to do today. I'm going to shuffle around it here. I'll probably go outside because it's going to be hot today and sit out front in the shade. That's down and up 3 stairs. That's it. That's all I'm going to do today. And I'm not going to be a hero. So, we had a little setback, but I'm kind of glad that we did because it just seemed to be all this smooth sailing, better than expected, and this is going to be amazing. The other thing I really want to reemphasize is even with this, I've had the easiest recovery that I've heard told by anyone. And, I've been on YouTube, I've watched YouTube videos, I've read articles, I've listened to surgeons and physical therapists and my own surgeon and my own nurses. And before the surgery, I concluded one thing for sure. Everybody's different. And there's no telling what my recovery is going to look like until I experience my recovery. And I got lucky. And keep in mind, if you're watching this series and you're thinking, this is how my surgery recovery is going to go, don't be fooled. It may go this way. It may go better. It may go worse. But I'm giving you a example of how it could go. A real life, this is how it went. Day by day recovery. So don't get me wrong, I'm still very encouraged. And I think and I did discuss yesterday this whole idea of overdoing it. That's a piece of advice that rains on you from day one. Don't overdo it. And so I committed to myself, well, I'm not going to overdo it. And guess what I did? Well, you know what? It's human nature. I felt good Saturday. I felt like I could conquer the world Saturday. And while I was doing what I was doing, I didn't consider that overdoing it. So all I did was I got in my walker and I walked around the camp, the whole length of the camp and back. I took Dottie for a short walk. I got in the car with, Barb's Class C and we went to town. And I said, well, I'll go in the grocery store with you because I'll take my walker in and I'll grab onto a shopping cart and I'll do that. And then when we went to the second store, I didn't do any shopping. I just went around and filmed on my walker. And I said, how could that possibly be overdoing it? Well, I went up and down her steps multiple times. I walked a lot more distance by far than I have before. And in retrospect, I did way, 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 way more than I'd been doing. That's overdoing it. And I realize now that an incremental approach to getting active again is what's called for. And going from, 30 or 40 steps in a day inside this little trailer to, 1,000 or 2,000 steps was not incremental. That was a big jump. And it didn't seem that way because my frame of reference is being healthy. Or not being healthy, but being like I was before with the irritating daily pain. That was my baseline. And that's what I was comparing it to. And that's a mistake. When you look at increasing your activity, I think for me, it's better to compare myself to what did I do yesterday? And for me, yesterday doesn't count. Yesterday was a mistake. So I need to look at what I did Friday. And Friday, all I did was walk a short distance in camp and then come back. That was really all I did. Then the stuff around the camper. And I'm even going to back off from that because of I think I, re-injured some tissue yesterday is what obviously happened. That's what happens when your whole leg swells up like that. And, I know I showed you here. It's pretty scary looking stuff, especially the bruise part. But I hope this helps you prevent you from doing what I did. It's not a big deal. I'm okay right now. I'd like give you some reassurance. I'm sitting in the recliner. My feet aren't even up. My feet are kind of dangling. My feet shouldn't be up. I should have it. There, they're up. I have zero pain. There's no pain. I'm totally fine. Right? I'll show you. If I get up, and this will give you an idea of kind of most of my activity today, other than just going right outside that door into a chair outside, is I get up. Okay, I'm going to call it zero pain. Okay, there's a 1 when I step on it. A half. 0.25 out of 10. All right, but if I keep doing this too much, that 0.5 or 0 out of 10 when I walk like this is going to go up and up. I need to go slow. So what I can do is I can come here, I can get some food, I can go over to the fridge. Back here is the bathroom. I can go in here to the bathroom. I can go visit my kitty. I can visit Dottie over there and get my medicines. And I'm going to go right out that door and right down at the base of the stairs is the chair, and I'm going to hang out with my friends later if they'll hang out with me. And that's going to be it for today. And we'll see how I do tomorrow. Isn't this kind of cool how the camera follows me? Robin's Gadgets, right? This is the Osmo Pocket 3, brought to you by Hasbro. No, Hasbro doesn't make it. DJI makes it. And no, I'm not an affiliate. Okay, what else can I tell you today? What else can I tell you about? I can't emphasize enough that get a little blanket on me. It's a little cool. It's 6:48 a.m. and it's 60 degrees outside, 78 inside. I think I showed you on the long video. And a lot of you didn't get through the whole thing. Who's going to sit and watch a 70-minute video on an old man? Not many of you, but some of you did. I have a little remote here. See that? Do you know what that does? If I press this button on the top and release it, it starts my generator outside. And those of you with Class A or Class C's are like, so what? You can start your generator from inside. But this is a travel trailer. To start my generator that's propane fueled. And then I could go to my phone, or I can walk over there, but I would use my phone to start my air conditioner, which I may or may not need today. Let me give you an example. We're getting towards the end of the season here, so it can get hot. Let's see. Let's look at the weather. So here the weather channel says it's 63. I got 60 on my measuring devices. That's pretty close. And it shows a high of 87 by 5 o'clock. So I'm assuming if we hang out in the middle of the day, I'll probably be good to about 1 or 2. Everybody will head back to their own place probably. Depends on how much breeze there's. There's about a 5-6 mile an hour breeze, which could be very nice. But at some point I'll head inside and I'll fire up the generator for 2 or 3 hours. And then we go look at some other days. So high of today is going to be 89, right? That'll happen around 4 or 5. Then tomorrow 93, and get this, on Tuesday 97, which means if I don't do anything in here, it'll get well over 100 in here, and that's not bearable for me or the kitty or the puppy dog. And then there's 95 on Wednesday, 91 on Tuesday, then back to the low 80s on Friday. And then it even shows, hey, it's going to be 79 on the 3rd, and the 3rd is when I go back down to see the doc for my final checkout. So he can, I'm sure he'll do x-rays and make sure everything looks perfecto. And then he will sign me off for driving, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days later to New Mexico. And guess who's coming with me? You're coming with me to New Mexico. And we're going to have an adventure. We're going to put quartzite in the rear view mirror, and we're going to put the wonderful state of New Mexico in the front view, which will be the centerpiece. Will be Eagle Nest in Eagle Nest Lake at 8,000 feet in northern New Mexico. It's a stone's throw away from Colorado. If you draw a straight line north from Eagle Nest, where I stay on the lake, I'm right on the lake. You go 30 miles north, and you're in Colorado. And a lot of people refer to that area where Eagle Nest is, and the place you might have heard of that's near there is called Taos, New Mexico. You might have heard of Taos. Taos is about 37 miles or an hour away. It's 37 miles, but it's an hour because it's through this winding, beautiful canyon that I will show you more than once. But they call it the poor man's Colorado because it is very expensive in Colorado. And this is indistinguishable from Colorado geographically. You'll see where the beautiful place I'm camped, 360 degrees. I'm on the one side is Eagle Nest Lake, which is beautiful, full of all kinds of fish, and then 360 degrees, all mountains, all around me. And I'm close to Cimarron Canyon, and I'll take you up through Cimarron Canyon, and it's set like the center of Cimarron Canyon, where it's the most beautiful, is 7 miles from where I am. 7 miles. And then the beautiful village of Eagle Nest. Because I did so many YouTube channels, people started recognizing me. So I know people there. It's really fun. And there's Angel Fire is the next town over. Angel Fire. It's a ski resort. And in the summer, there's plenty of activity because there is a little tiny lake there, but there's also some of the most premier mountain biking paths on that ski resort in the Rocky Mountains. So they get quite a few people going there for that. And so Angel Fire is a little bit bigger. That's where the closest quote grocery store is, and there's a really good hardware store there, and lots of restaurants, a little church that I occasionally go to, and that's a beautiful place, and that's about 10 miles away. And then I go in a different direction. There's a little town called Red River, which is a beautiful mountain town. It's even higher. You go through a pass that's almost 10,000 feet to get from Eagle Nest to Red River. And then you can do this loop. You can go to Red River and drive around and come in the backside of Taos, and then go through Taos, which is a much bigger town. They even have a Walmart, but Taos is a real artist town. It's their galleries, and it's just there's a lot of American Indian stuff happening there. Some of the oldest contiguous residential settlement is there in Taos. There's all kinds of things to see and do in Taos. And you can continue through Taos and all the way around through the mountains. Then you go through Angel Nest again and continue that loop all the way back to Eagle Nest. And it's called the Enchanted Circle, that loop of highways that does the Enchanted Circle. And it's called the Enchanted Circle for a good reason, because it's gorgeous the whole way. It's incredible scenery, and you're going to see all of that with me if you choose to come with me to New Mexico this spring and summer. That's pretty exciting, isn't it? I'm excited about it. So I'm beginning to get, I don't know if you've been with me for a while, you know how excited I started to get about coming to Quartzsite. Well, I'm starting to get that excited feeling, that identical feeling about New Mexico. And guess what? At the end of the summer and fall, I'm going to start to get that feeling about Quartzsite again. And who knows what I might do in Quartzsite this year. Will I come back to exactly the same place and do exactly the same thing and have the same people? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. That's one of the exciting things about being a nomad, is I can decide to do things differently at the drop of a hat. And here I go. I'm moving forward. And again, stationary, leg up, watching TV, talking to you, 0 out of 10 pain. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.